Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about the Aspern Papers by Henry James. I'm going to be focusing on one of the main themes within the novel, which is obsession. First, I'm going to give you a brief summary of what the book is about. So what is the Aspern Papers about? The Aspern Paper by Henry James is the novel about a nameless narrator who is obsessed with the late author Jeffrey Aspern. The narrator goes to Italy to meet with Aspern's mistress, Julienne Bordereau, to get the last letters of Aspern's papers. The narrator is so consumed with getting his hands on the paper, he does anything and everything in his power to retrieve them, even considering marrying someone he does not love. In the end, the narrator is unsuccessful. So like I said before, the theme within the Aspern Paper, there are many themes present within this novel. One theme that I'm going to focus on is the theme of obsession. I'm going to break this down to each character and tie it into Blithedale Romance by Nathaniel Hawthorne. So first I'm going to begin with the narrator. The narrator is the main character of this novel. We're not given this person's name, only that he is in search of the late poet Jeffrey Aspern's last letter. He is obsessed with learning and knowing everything about Aspern's life and work. We see throughout the novel how obsessive he becomes in search of the papers, to the point that he steals the papers, and Julian wants to burn the papers in order to keep them safe from his and other visitors' hands. This obsession is what drives the narrator's action within the novel. Julienne Bordereau. Julienne Bordereau was the mistress to the late Jeffrey Aspern. She has the last known papers of Aspern. She's American and now resides in Venice, Italy. Bordereau is obsessed with money. She does what she can to obtain money. When the narrator comes to rent a room from her, she asks for an exorbitant amount of money for him to rent from her. She even considers selling a portrait of Aspern for money. Next is Tatia/Tina. Tatia is the niece of Julian. She has been sent to live with her. She's obsessed with not being alone. She agrees to help the narrator, and even after her aunt dies, she proposes to the narrator so she won't be alone. Her loneliness overtakes her at times. So I'm connecting this to Blithedale Romance. So like most literary works, you can normally find ways that other works of literature connect together. The characters in Blithedale Romance, Zenobia, Cloverdale, and Priscilla, are very similar to the characters in the Aspern Papers, the narrator, Julian, and Tatia. So the way that the narrator and Cloverdale are connected is the narrator and Aspern is very similar to Cloverdale and Blithedale. They both have obsessive natures, the narrator being obsessed with Aspern and Cloverdale with his friends. They both go to unique measures to achieve their goals, and this obsession often drives their motives and actions. Zenobia and Julian. These two women are similar in a lot of ways. They both have a grasp on reality and often do not fantasize about silly romantic things, but often focus on the now of reality. Julian's actions are driven by greed, and Zenobia's actions are driven by the act of accepting reality. Tatia/Priscilla. Both of these characters are seen as childlike and innocent. They can be easily persuaded to do things. They are both driven by loneliness. Priscilla, throughout Blithedale, often clings to Zenobia or Hollingsworth. She constantly follows the two around throughout the story. Tatia is so obsessed with the idea of loneliness that she even proposes to the narrator after the death of her aunt to avoid being alone. So the overall summary is, one of the main themes within the novel is obsession. It is clear that these characters' action within the Aspern Papers are driven by their obsessions.